Ram.
Om Krado Smara Kridam Smara.
Om
Krito
Smartam
Smara.
Krido Smara Kridam Smara.
Krito Smartam Smara.
Vayur Anilam Amurdam.
Vayur Anilam Amritam.
Adhedam Basmandam Shariram.
Adhedam Vasmantam Sariram.
Om Krado Smara Kridam Smara.
Om Kratos
Krito Smara Kritam Smara.
Krado Smara Kridam Smara.
Krito Smara Kritam Smara.
Vayur Anilam Amurdam.
Vayur Anilam Amritam.
Adhedam Basmandam Shariram.
Adhedam Vasmantam Sariram.
Om Krado Smara Kridam Smara.
Om Krito Smara Krito Kritam Smara.
Krado Smara Kridam Smara.
Smara Kritam Smara.
We'll go word by word meaning, synonyms. Vayu,
Vayu.
Vayu,
air of life.
air of life.
Anilam,
Anilam.
Anilam,
total reservoir of air.
Reservoir.
reservoir of air.
Amurdam,
Amritam.
Amritam,
indestructible.
indestructible.
Adha,
Atha.
Atha,
now.
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 Idam,
Idam,
this.
this.
Basmandam,
Vasmantam,
after being turned to ashes.
after being turned to ashes.
Shariram,
Shariram.
Shariram,
body.
body.
Om,
Om,
O Lord.
O Lord.
Krado,
Krado,
O enjoyer of all sacrifices.
O enjoyer of all sacrifices.
Mara,
Mara.
Mara,
please remember.
please remember.
Kridam,
Kridam,
all that has been done by me.
all that has been done by me.
Smara,
Mara,
please remember.
Please remember.
Krado,
Krado,
O supreme beneficiary.
O supreme beneficiary.
Smara,
Mara,
please remember.
please remember.
Kridam,
Kridam,
all that I have done for you.
all that I have done for you.
Smara,
Mara.
please remember.
Please remember.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Translation, please repeat after me. Let this temporary body
Let this temporary body
burn to ashes,
Burn to
burn
ashes.
to ashes,
and let the air of life
and let the air of life
be merged with the totality of air.
We merge the
Now,
now,
O my Lord,
Oh my Lord.
my Lord,
please remember all my sacrifices,
Remember.
please remember all my sacrifices,
because you
because you
are the ultimate beneficiary.
are the ultimate beneficiary.
Please remember
Please remember
all that I have done for you.
all that I have done for you.
Purport. Any devotees would volunteer to read the purport by paragraph by paragraph?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, temporary material body is certainly a foreign dress. The Bhagavad Gita 2.22 clearly says that after the destruction of the material body, the living entity is not annihilated, nor does he lose his identity. The identity of the living entity is never impersonal or formless. On the contrary, it is the material race that is formless and that takes a shape according to the form of the indestructible person. No living entity is originally formless, as is wrongly thought by those with a poor fund of knowledge. This mantra verifies the fact that the living entity exists after the annihilation of the material body.
Okay. Thank you so much. Any other devotee? Next paragraph. Please go ahead.
Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In the material world, material nature displays wonderful workmanship by creating varieties of bodies for the living beings according to their propensities for sense gratification. The living entity who wants to taste stool is given a material body that is quite suitable for eating stool, that of a hog. Similarly, one who wants to eat the flesh and blood of other animals may be given a tiger's body equipped with suitable teeth and claws. But the human being is not meant for eating flesh, nor does he have any taste desire, nor does he have any desire to taste stool, even in the most aboriginal state. Human teeth are so made that they can chew and cut fruit and vegetables, although there are two canine teeth so that primitive humans can eat flesh if they so desire. Hare Krishna.
I can read.
Please, next devotee.
But in any case, the material bodies of all animals and men are foreign to the living entity. They change according to the living entity desire for a sense of gratification. In the cycle of evolution, the living entity changes the bodies one after another. When the world was full of water, the living entity took an aquatic form. Then he passed to vegetable life, from vegetable life to worm's life, from worm life to the bird life, from bird life to the animal life, and from animal life to the human form. The highest developed form in this human form, when it is possessed of full of sense of spiritual knowledge. The highest development of one's spiritual sense is described in this mantra. One should give up the material body which will be turned to ashes and allow the air of life to merge into the eternal reservoir of air. The living being's activities are performed within the body through the movements of different kinds of air, known in the summary as pranavayu. The yogis generally study how to control the air of the body. The soul is supposed to be rise from one circle of air to another until it rises to the Brahman Rudra, the highest circle. From the point of the perfect yogi can transfer himself to a planet he likes. The process is to give up one material body and then enter to another. But the highest perfection of such a changes occurs only when the living entity is able to give up the material body altogether. As suggested in the mantra, and enter into spiritual atmosphere where he can develop a completely different type of body, a spiritual body which never has to meet death or change.
Yeah. Next paragraph. I think Suman Madaji was trying to read.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam, all praise to Srila Prabhupada. Purport given by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ji Jai. Here is the material world, material nature. Here is the material world, material nature forces the living entity to change his body due to his different desires for sense gratification. These desires are represented in the various species of life, from germs to the most perfected material body, those of Brahman and the demigod. Of all these living entities have bodies composed of matter in different shapes. The intelligent man sees oneness not in the varieties of the body, but in the spiritual identity. The spiritual spark, which is part and parcel of Supreme Lord, is the same whether he is in the body of a hog or in the body of a demigod. The living entity takes on different bodies according to his pious and vicious activity. The human body is highly developed and has full consciousness. According to the Bhagavad Gita 7.19, the most perfect man surrenders unto the Lord after many, many lifetimes of culturing knowledge. The culture of knowledge reaches perfection only when the knower comes to the point of surrendering unto the Supreme Lord, Vasudeva. Otherwise, even after attaining knowledge of one's spiritual identity, if one does not know the point of knowing that the living entity are eternal, part and parcel of whole, then can never become the whole. Become the whole. One has to fall down again into the material atmosphere. Indeed, one must fall down even he has become one with the Brahmajyoti. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you. Yeah, the devotee, please go ahead.
As we have learned from previous mantras, the Brahmajyotir emanating from the transcendental body of the Lord is full of spiritual sparks that are individual entities with the full sense of existence. Sometimes these living entities want to enjoy their senses, and therefore they are placed in the material world to become false lords under the dictation of the senses. The desire for lordship is the material disease of the living being, for under the spell of sense enjoyment, he transmigrates through the various bodies manifested in the material world. Becoming one with the Brahmajyotir does not represent mature knowledge. Only by surrendering unto the Lord completely and developing one's sense of spiritual service does one reach the highest perfectional stage.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Next paragraph. Would like to read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I will.
Please.
Just the mantra that the living entity prays to enter the spiritual kingdom of God after relinquishing his material body and material air. The devotee prays to the Lord to remember his activities and the sacrifices he has performed before his material body is turned into ashes. He makes this prayer at the time of death with full consciousness of his past deeds and of the ultimate goal. One who is completely under the rule of material nature remembers the heinous activities he performed during the existence of his material body, and consequently, he gets another material body after death. The Bhagavad Gita 8.6 confirms this truth. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyaste ante kalevaram tam tam evaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. Thus, the mind carries the living entity's propensities into the next life. Hare
Yes.
Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Few more paragraph, please read. Anybody else?
I'll read, Prabhuji. Hare
Please.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Unlike the simple animals who have no developed mind, the dying human being can remember the activities of his life like dreams at night. Therefore, his mind remains surcharged with material desires, and consequently, he cannot enter into the spiritual kingdom with a spiritual body. The devotees, however, develop a sense of love for Godhead by practicing devotional service to the Lord. Even if at the time of death a devotee does not remember his service to the Lord does not forget him. This prayer is given to remind the Lord of the devotee's sacrifices. But even if there is no such reminder, the Lord does not forget the service rendered by his pure devotee. Jai.
Yeah. Next paragraph. Go ahead. There is no need of waiting for, just read it.
The
I can
Lord,
read.
the Lord clearly described his intimate relationship with his devotees in the Bhagavad Gita 9.30 to 34. Even if one commits the most abominable action, if he is engaged in devotional service, he is to be considered saintly because he is properly situated in his determination. He quickly becomes righteous and attain lasting peace. O son of Kunti, declare, O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perish. O son of Partha, those who take shelter in me, though they be of lower birth, women, Vaishya, as well as Sudras, can attain the supreme destination. How much more this is so of the righteous Brahmanas, the devotees, and the saintly kings. Therefore, having come to the temporary miserable world, engage in loving service unto me. Engage your mind always in thinking of me. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me and worship me. Being completely absorbed in me, surely you will come to me.
Yeah, thank you. Perfect. Please go ahead. Anybody?
Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur explains these verses in this way. One should regard the devotee of Krishna to be on the right path of saints, even though such a devotee may seem to be Suduracharya, a person of low character. One should try to understand the real purport of the word Suduracharya. A conditioned soul has to act for double functions, namely for the maintenance of the body and again for the self-realization. Social status, mental development, cleanliness, austerity, nourishment, and the struggle for existence are all for the maintenance of the body. The self-realization part of one's activities is executed in one's occupation as a devotee of the Lord, and one performs actions in that connection also. One must perform these two different functions along parallel lines because a conditioned soul cannot give up the maintenance of his body. The proportion of activities for maintenance of the body decreases. However, in proportion to the increase in the devotion service, as long as the proportion of the devotional service does not come to the right point, there is a chance for an occasional exhibition of worldliness. But it should be noted that such worldliness cannot continue for long because, by the grace of the Lord, such imperfections will come to an end very shortly. Therefore, the path of devotional service is the only right path. If one is on the right path, he even an occasional occurrence of worldliness does not hamper one in the advancement of self-realization. Hare
Right.
Krishna.
Okay, thank you. Please go ahead, dear devotees. I think, yeah, a couple more paragraphs.
I can read if nobody wants to read.
Yeah, I mean, everybody should read. That's why I'm wondering why I think everybody can read, right? Able to read. I'm sure. Please go ahead. Please read. If today's Ekadashi. It's good to have. Repeat the words of his mantra.
The facilities of devotional service are denied the impersonalists because they are attached to the Brahm Jyotir because of the feature of the Lord. As suggested in the previous mantras, they cannot penetrate the Brahm Jyoti because they do not believe in the personality of Godhead. Their business is mostly word jugglery and mental speculation. Consequently, the impersonalists pursue a fruitless labor as confirmed in the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita 12.5. Yes, Prabhu, I'll read only that much. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. But there are, few more paragraphs. Okay. Go ahead. Who is next?
Hare Krishna.
Hare
All the facilities suggested in this mantra can be easily obtained by constant contact with the personal feature of the absolute truth. Devotional service of the Lord consists essentially of 9 transcendental activities. First is hearing about the Lord. Second is glorifying the Lord. Third is remembering the Lord. Fourth is serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Fifth is worshipping the Lord. Sixth is offering prayers to the Lord. Seventh is serving the Lord. Eighth is enjoying friendly association with the Lord. And ninth, surrendering everything unto the Lord. The 9 principles of devotional service are taken all to even help a devotee remain constantly in touch with God. In this way, at the end of the life, it is easy for the devotee to remember the Lord. By adopting only one of these 9 principles, the following renowned devotees of the Lord were able to achieve the highest perfection. First, by hearing of the Lord, Maharaja Parikshit, the hero of Srimad Bhagavatam, attained the desired result. Second, just by glorifying the Lord, Sukadeva Goswami, the speaker of Srimad Bhagavatam, attained his perfection. Third, by praying to the Lord, Akura attained the desired result. Fourth, by remembering the Lord, Prahlad Maharaj attained the desired result. Fifth, by worshipping the Lord, Pretu Maharaj attained perfection. Sixth, by serving the lotus feet of the Lord, goddess of fortune Lakshmi attained perfection. Seventh, by rendering personal service of the Lord, service to the Lord, Hanuman attained the desired result. Eighth, through his friendship with the Lord, Arjuna attained the desired result. Ninth, by surrendering everything he had to the Lord, Maharaja Bali attained the desired result.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. Who is next?
Krishna Prabhuji, I'll go.
Please.
Actually, the explanation of this mantra and of practically all the mantras of Vedic hymns is summarized in this Vedanta Sutra and properly explained in Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the mature fruit of the Vedic tree of wisdom. In Srimad Bhagavatam, this particular mantra is explained in the questions and answers between Maharaj Parikshit and Shukadev Goswami at the very beginning of their meeting. Hearing and chanting of the science of God is the basic principle of devotional service, the devotional life. The complete Bhagavatam was heard by Maharaj Parikshit and chanted by Shukadev Goswami. Maharaj Parikshit inquired from Shukadeva because Shukadev was a greater spiritual master than any great yogi or transcendentalist of this time. Maharaj Parikshit's main question was, what is the duty of every man, especially at the time of death? Shukadeva Goswami answered, Tasmat, it's gone. Can't see that. Prabhuji.
It's up there.
It's not coming on my phone. Bharata Sarvatama.
Yeah, sure.
Ishvaro Hari. I don't know. Suddenly it's gone. Everything is gone from my phone.
Oh.
Anybody can see this? Can you
Yes.
please?
Yes. Can I go?
Yeah, Mataji, please.
Okay. Tasmad Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvaro Harihi Srota Kirti Tasyacha Smartavyascheta Tabhayam. Everyone who desires to be free from all anxiety should always hear about, glorify, and remember the personality of Godhead, who is the supreme director of everything, the extinguisher of all difficulties, and the super soul of all living entities. Bhagavatam 2.1.5.
So-called human, Okay.
Go ahead.
So-called human society is generally engaged at night in sleeping and having sex, and during the daytime in earning as much money as possible, or as in shopping for family maintenance. People have very little time to talk about the personality of Godhead or to inquire about Him. They have dismissed God's existence in so many ways, primarily by declaring Him to be impersonal, that is, without sense perception. But in the Vedic literature, whether the Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, or Srimad Bhagavatam, it is declared that the Lord is a sentient being and is supreme over all other living entities. His glorious activities are identical with himself. One should therefore not indulge in hearing and speaking of the rubbish activities of worldly politicians and so-called big men in society, but should mold his life in such a way that he can engage in godly activities without wasting a second. Shri Isopanishad directs us toward such godly activities.
Yeah. Last paragraph. Anybody? Those who are not read? Let's go ahead.
Unless one, okay, Prabhu. Okay.
Yeah,
Can
go
I?
ahead. Go ahead, yeah.
Unless one is accustomed to devotional practice, what will he remember at the time of death, when the body is dislocated? And how can he pray to the Almighty Lord to remember his sacrifices? Sacrifice means denying the interest of the senses. One has to learn this art by employing the senses in the service of the Lord during one's lifetime. Okay. One can utilize the results of such practice at the time of death. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, dear devotees. It's a long purport, but it's very Srila Prabhupada completely giving the meaning and the complete understanding through this purport, and that's very fortunate that we are able to read and understand. Thank you, dear devotees. Let's meditate a little bit more on this translation and the purport. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salagaya Chakshurunmilidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you, dear devotees. Very auspicious day of Ekadashi, Indira Ekadashi. Hearing and chanting of the Supreme Lord, the glories of the Supreme Lord, the names of the Supreme Lord, remembering of the Supreme Lord. That's what is meant for this Ekadashi, the day of the Lord. And it gives us so much benefits. It purifies our heart and also gives us the realization that we can more understand more about the Supreme Lord. So here today we are learning this, especially this verse is revealing the art of living and art of dying. I think many of you must have heard this word, art of dying and art of living, right? I think it's art of living is very popular. There is a movement, something like that. So, but here in this verse and in this purport, Srila Prabhupada very clearly revealing that what is meant by art of living and what is art of dying. So we all know that, and Srila Prabhupada many times mentioned this, life is a preparation, death is an examination. So we all have to go through the examination, and we don't want to fail. That's why this Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, spiritual master devotees, is helping us to pass this examination. What is that examination? The final examination. What is that? That's our death, examination of death. So it's very important that we are living in this world to pass that examination. So in order to pass that examination, we have to prepare our day-to-day life. That's called art of living. Not that we just put some yogas or some disciplines and just, spending here and there and not. So one has to come to that realization. One has to come to that self-realization, understanding who he is. So let me ask this question to all of you. So who is actually praying this to the Lord? In this words, it's mentioned that Vayur Anilam Amurdam Adedam Basmadam Shariram Om Krudos Mara Krudam Smara Krudos Mara Krudam Smara. Who is praying this?
Actually, Jiva.
Jiva, exactly. The spirit soul is praying. The Jiva is praying. This is the prayer of the Jiva. That means the prayer of all living entity, especially humans. Why humans? Because of they have developed intelligence. They have consciousness, higher consciousness. They have realizations and understanding. So when they come to that stage, they pray to the Supreme Lord. There is a beautiful section, if anybody and those who are habit of reading Srimad Bhagavatam, we'll come to that also. Every morning we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam. There is a chapter called 29th chapter on the predicant, which is mentioned that the movements of the soul. It's very beautiful. And one time I mentioned about the Bhakti Vrisha. And it's very beautiful that Lord mentioned that how a soul, a spirit soul come into being, how that's developed in the mother's womb, and each day by day. Not even the medical field even didn't explain that detail. Even this was mentioned thousands of years ago. There were no scanning, no kinds of other facilities to see the growth of a child in the mother's womb. And it says that each day, 5th day, 10th day, 15th day, 20th day, 1 month, 1.5 month, likes that up to the age of time of like 4th month. That's a time the living entity really develop that consciousness. Soul is there, really develop that the consciousness. It says initially it is just like a plum, just like little flesh, little like a flower, like a plum. 4th month onwards, it started to develop the bones and the hands and the legs, and then develop that the head, then develop the brain and the consciousness. Then they started some movements, and then started to. There's a time when they get the consciousness. Then they pray to the lordships that no, I don't want to get into this world. That's the time the soul this prayed to the Lord. And it's mentioned that the soul can also see that past 100 lifetimes, what he went through. And because of seeing that and understanding that, the soul prays to the Lord that, no, I don't want to go into this material world, or Lord, please. And then also, and if there is no options, then I will pray, I will completely dedicate to you. And this was all the praise that the consciousness when the child is in the mother's womb. You know that when a child is in the mother's womb, and then they can hear, they can have this all feelings when it's after 4th, 5th, 6th year, months of the mother's womb. So we know that the story of Prahlad Maharaj, how Prahlad Maharaj heard this transcendental science in the mother's womb. Similarly, Abhimanyu heard all this, how to break this Chakravyuha even within the womb of Mother Uttara. So it's very possible, and it's a transcendental science. So these all science were revealed in Srimad Bhagavatam thousands of years ago. Even medical field couldn't explain all this. So that's why, dear devotees, this is a transcendental science. So here we can see that Srila Prabhupada very elaborately mentioned all this in the purport. So initially, Srila Prabhupada says that, and before I come to that, the spirit soul prays to the Lord. What is the spirit soul pray? Let this temporary body burn to ashes. So the spirit soul should come to that understanding. Our body is temporary. That's the first understanding. That's otherwise we are living in a very gross, form of life. So scriptures reveals this transcendental truth. And we are all our body, this temporary body made up of 5 elements. That is the Panchabhuta, which is mentioned as Panchabhuta. Panchabhuta is Bhumir, Apo, Nalo, Vayu. That means earth, water, fire, air, ether. This is the ingredients of this body. So then it's constituted together. Earth is there in the body, water is there, and pretty much, most of the ingredients of our body is water. Most of the portion of the body is water. Fire is there, right? Temperature and the fire is there. And then air is there. And that's why when a body is died and float into the water, because of its air is there within the body. Nobody can deny this fact. And ether is there. The sky, it is also there within the body. So these are the 5 gross elements of the body. So one has to know that. Note that this body is everything. And one has to know that at the time of death, this body, this gross body, goes back to this original nature. Earth goes to the earth, water goes to the water, and air goes to the air, and fire goes to the fire, and then ether goes to ether. So that's it's mentioned that the living entity, those who are realized, praying to the Lord, let the air of life be merged with the totality of air. So even though we have the air, and which is called prana vayu, and that's why it's in the mentioning in this one, in the anilam amrutam, it's mentioned that vayu, anala means vayu, anilam. So vayu should go to the merge with the totality of the air. What is the totality of the air here revealing that? Yes, even though air is there, it has a potency. That's why we have Adi Devada. Adi Devada is known as wind god, Anala. His name is Anala. That's why Anala is mentioned here. Wind god name is, we say Vayu Bhagavan, and Vayu Bhagavan's name is, that's very physical name is called Anala. So sometimes we have Anil, right? Some names we heard that Anil. Where this name Anil come from? The word from Anala. That means that's the name of the wind god. So that's the totality. And who is actually controlling this Anala or this wind god? That is the energy of the Supreme Lord. That's Adi Devada. That's the portion of the potency of the Lord. So, like this, when a living entity prays to the Supreme, that when I leave this body, let my body burn to ashes. Let my air, that's why I think pretty much we call it as pranavayu. And also there's a significance when it's mentioned here in this verse, anala or vayu, that's also pranavayu. So unless we have a breath, unless we have this vayu, we cannot live. So pretty much in our life, it's a most significant, most important part of our existence is because of we have this prana vayu. Prana means the vital energy, right? Prana means the vital energy which develops everything. Without prana vayu, this body doesn't grow. Even in the mother's womb, through the veins, the baby in the mother's womb gets this prana, right? This vayu through the veins. So everywhere, even the fish in the water. So what they do, fish in the water, they get the vayu from the water because of water also contains the vayu. So everybody gets this prana, this vital force. So here, that's why sometimes we say oxygen, but on the other planetary system, it's in a different forms to leave that living entity like that form. So here we have pranavayu. So there are different kinds of pranavayu. It's mentioned that 10 in main number and primarily 5. That is called prana, apana, samana, udana, vyana. These are the different names of the prana. Can you imagine that? Our scriptures, our transcendental knowledge is how deep. Even science couldn't say all these things. There are prana which gives this vital energy to live. That's called pranavayu. The pranavayu, and that's called also, there is another vayu which is called apana vayu, that which goes apana vayu, which goes down. Samana vayu means it's all that giving all our vital energy to move our hands, legs, and all. That's called the samana vayu. and then Udana Vayu, the digestive power that's in the stomach, and then then Vyana, which moves, helps us to move, the moving of our body. So there are various functions of it. So as a spirit soul, I realized a person should understand all this. But we are completely in forgetful mode. We are completely in the dumb and forgetful mode. Why? Because of we are completely engrossed with our subtle body or senses and the mind, trying to load it over this material nature. That's what Srila Prabhupada mentioning, that when he wanted to load it over this material nature, and he developed his senses. He developed his senses to enjoy this various material world, right? That's what is, we develop all this gross body and the senses so that we can enjoy this world. So through the senses and the mind, we try to enjoy or load it over this material world. So, but this living entity who is self-realized, who is understandable, who is knowledgeable, is praying to the Supreme Lord, let the body be burnt to ashes, let the air goes back to the totality of the air, or the senses merge and senses dissolve, and then so that, oh Lord, that I can remember you. So it's basically, it's giving us that understanding of art of living, first of all. That means art of living means we are completely bodily conscious. We are completely sensual conscious and mental, and so many ways but that is not our identity. That's not our original nature. So this gives us that understanding, who am I? Self-realization, right? So that's one of things. Then Srila Prabhupada also gives that the bodies, how the bodies develop in this world. The bodies develop in this world because of our desires, because of our incessant desires to enjoy this material world. So Srila Prabhupada very beautifully mentioning in this purport the cycle of evolution. So yes, Srimad Bhagavatam very clearly explained this cycle of evolution. And this cycle of evolution, that Sri Kapila Muni was explaining this. Kapila Muni was explaining in the third canto, is explaining very beautifully and detailed. Srila Prabhupada exactly mentioning here, and sometimes we also hear that the theory of evolution of Charles Darwin. Where did they get all this? All this get from our scriptures. Even so many transcendental knowledge they received from our scriptures. And even the how this world, and there is, even recently I was hearing a documentary. They were mentioning about there are parallel universes. And what they were coming up with this theory of, and it's a very famous theory now, the parallel universes. That means they say there are another universe that living entity exists there. See, living entity exists there and exactly in the same form as what we are right now. So they say that similarly, the living entity can exist into that parallel universe. Our Bhagavad explains so very beautifully that yes, there is a spiritual world. Living entity exists there. So, but in a different way. So similarly, Charles Darwin took all this and they said, okay, living entities start from the water. Yes, it's initially, yes, there is a water initially in this world. That's why pralayam, when there is a pralayam, and that's what is initially, there is a lot of water. Then pretty much universe is filled with water. That each universe is filled with water. Even Karanodakshaya Vishnu is filled with water and lying on the water. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, that universe is filled with this, again, water and half filled with water and lies down there. There is a water ocean, there is an Shira ocean, there is a milk ocean. Like that, there are 7 kinds of ocean in this world. So like that. So living entity manifest, and what is the situation? What are the facilities for the living entities? Accordingly, it lives. That doesn't mean that, okay, only the living entity can be in the water or start from the water. No. So this is the ignorance part of it. That's why the Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, spiritual master, devotee, sadhu, shastra, guru, they reveal this transcendental knowledge. That's what is. Otherwise, we are in ignorance. So this verse is also giving us this transcendental knowledge. So we have to take this very seriously, that this is all not just a story or a myth or just somebody just put it just for sake of doing something. No, this is eternal transcendental knowledge. This is giving us our identity, our all the structure of all our body, mind, intelligence, and the phases and the stages and what are all this. That's what it is giving to us. So ultimately, we have to understand this. Yes, then we are all developing because of the body according to our desire. And what Srila Prabhupada gives that example of it. Yam yam vavis maran bhavam tejjande kalevaram tam tam evadi kaundeya tada tada sada tadbhava magadaha. Krishna saying this to Arjuna. Oh Arjuna, whatever the consciousness we have at the time of death, yam yam vavis maran bhavam tejjande kalevaram. And there is no doubt, and tam tam evadi kaundeya, and whatever the consciousness one has developed at the time of death, and he is going to become that. There is no doubt. Sada tadbhava magadada. He will attain that, form, that consciousness. That's why it says that we are creating a next life within this lifetime itself, or within the past lifetime itself, and mostly within this lifetime, because of we are the result of our past life. Always remember this. The current life is the results of our past life. And past life was the results of the past life. So like that, we are the results of, and we are developing this body with our consciousness. So consciousness has important, very significant role in our life. So that consciousness is contaminated. That consciousness is an animal consciousness. That consciousness that always thinking, okay, I should eat so much of very vigorously, so much blood or so much meat and so much of this one. And if they are always eager for such kinds of attitude and consciousness, what they get a body accordingly in their next life. So they can easily get, because of, as we know that the mind is so strong, right? Mind is so strong, and mind plays a vital part of our consciousness. Mind plays a very big and vital part of our consciousness. So whatever the mind captures, there are many kinds of mind, right? And that, if we start to explain this, it takes lot of time. So there is unconscious mind, right? That's called abodha manas, abodha. And there is a conscious mind, right? And there are various kinds of mind mentioned in the Yoga Sutra, Shipta, Vishipta, Mudha, Yegagra, and Niruddha. There are various levels and stages of mind. Why all these kinds of? Because of mind has such a power. So then think about that. A person has strong attachment. A person has strong inclination. No matter what, that's what is basically driving him. Yeah, right. That's what, right? The devotees, right? The devotees have such an inclination to come to Krishna, and they come. They come to Sundays, they hear, you are all there to listen. But at the same time, some other people, and if we say to them, okay, come to hear this Krishna Katha, no, I need to watch the cricket. There is a cricket match is going on. So they don't, because they have strong inclination for that. On the other time, sometimes eating, as soon as they get something, they wanted to eat like very, like an animal. So why? Because they develop that kind of taste. So we develop all these tastes in our life. Right? I was giving this example one day that there were two ladies, they were friends. So one lady was a fisherwoman, and another lady was a florist. The florist always make the garlands, and she always keep that flowers with her. Other lady is a fisherwoman, and she always sell the fish. So she used to it. She developed that taste of smell, and now even if fish is there, she does not feel anything, but she is completely tuned to that smell of a fish. But on the other side, other lady is actually a garland making, a florist, and she was. So one day, this fisherwoman came to the florist lady's home to stay there, and this florist lady invited her. So she came after her work, and she started to sleep. And after all the batchit, all this discussions and talking, and they started to sleep. This fisherwoman is in the home of a florist, a garland making woman, and they are full of flowers. So what happened? There's a beautiful fragrance of the flowers, and this fisherwoman was trying to sleep, but the smell of this flowers coming, and she couldn't sleep. So what she did, she was a little intelligent. She went there. She had a basket of these fishes, right? She has an empty basket, but always empty basket of fish always smells. What she did, she take that basket and put some water and kept it on her side of the head. And now she get a very, very deep sleep. Why? Because of she used to it, because of that's her complete body is structured, because of that deep association with that smell, likes that. So similarly, satsanga or asanga, that's why our acharya, spiritual master, says that we should avoid this asanga. Why? We can easily develop these kinds of distaste or different kinds of taste, and we can easily slip to that. So similarly, that's what is we are developing with our body and senses. That's a time when at the time of death, when you have this consciousness like this, that's what is we are going to become no matter what. And this very clearly explains that. And that is Srila Prabhupada, the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna also very clearly explains that. Whoever has taken this birth sure to die, and whoever has died and has to surely has to take the birth again. So this is a cycle of birth and death, this samsara chakra. But we don't know. When we don't know, we think that okay, this is life is everything. But dear devotees, we are since time immemorial, we are wandering in this world, one life after another life, in different bodies, different forms. That's what is Brahma is doing. They're putting into different bodies. So we are wandering, we are going from one life after life after life after one body to another, every lifetime after after we pass this body. So it's very important to understand this fact. And Krishna says this in the Bhagavad Gita, Dehino asmin yada dehe Kaumaram Yavanam Jara Dada Dehandara Prapta Dhiras Tatra Namukhyati. Dehino asmin yada dehe, like an embodied soul passing from a boyhood to youthhood to old age. Similarly, at the time of death, the soul takes another body at the time of death. There is no doubt into that. So one who taken the body sure has to leave, and one who left the body sure has to take another body. So this is what it is. Even the body that goes from the universe to universe, planet to planets. So that's why we have hellish planets in the below the earth, and there are upper planetary system above the earth. And then there is Brahmaloka, and there are millions of universes like that. And then beyond these millions of these material universes, there is a spiritual universe. So as long as we have this material consciousness, as long as we have this very much deep material inclinations and contaminations that load it over this material nature, me, mine, myself, my country, my nature, my people, mine, and this all, anything that which comes to this is for my enjoyment. Anything is in front of us, this is for my enjoyment, my world, my life, my wife, my children, my family, everything that is, and my body. This is called self-consciousness. So when we are completely with self-conscious and we try to put everything that, everything around, that's what it is, we are self-centric. That's Srila Prabhupada used this word, self-centric. But rather that, it gives us this understanding that even though we are self-centric, we have to be conscious of the Supreme. We have to be conscious of our identity. When we are conscious of our identity with that knowledge, that's as Srila Prabhupada mentioned the purport, that 719 verse, Behunam Janmanamande Jnanavan Mam Prabhadyande Vasudevam Sarvamidhi Samahatma Sudurlabha. Behunam Janmanamande, after many lifetimes, then one comes to this knowledge and understanding, Jnanavan Mam Prabhadyande, then he realizes and he attains Krishna. How? Then such a devotee is Vasudevam Sarvamidhi. That's why dear devotees, that we are practicing, we are sadhakas. Why we are sadhakas? When we hear this understanding, when we hear this knowledge from these scriptures, from these transcendental sources, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Isopanishad, it's revealing this, the transcendental eternal knowledge. There is no other knowledge beyond this. That she says, Behunam Janmanam, and the one attains this knowledge, then after many lifetimes, then comes to that proper understanding, yes, that Supreme Lord Vasudeva is the cause of everything, and we are all part of that Supreme Personality of Vasudevam Sarvamidhi. Samahatma Sudurlabha, such devotees are, such souls are very rare. Samahatma Sudurlabha. So this verse is actually revealing our real identity. And as I mentioned that, here Srila Prabhupada also mentioned very elaborately and giving that essence of this art of living, how we should live. Yes, that we are working in this world, we have to maintain boldly some extent. At the same time, as what Krishna said to Arjuna, Arjuna also in the same concept of us that Arjuna thinks that, okay, my family, my body, so that I should, that I am the doer and I have to manage it, I have to control it such a way that so that, I'll be always be happy. But that is not the case for. It's not that, we should make our life is to make always us happy. Yes, ultimate is not happy, but that is in the wrong sense we are taking it. As we put ourselves in so many ways to enjoy this world, that's a self-centric activities, not Krishna-centric. That's forgetful, that's ignorance. Acharya, spiritual masters reveals that that's completely an ignorant. Ajnana timirandasya. But on the other hand, a person developed in knowledge, realized his identity, and he comes to the real understanding. What he does, he develops such a bliss and happiness and joy in spiritual consciousness. We are trying to seek happiness in the material consciousness. Srila Prabhupada says that we are seeking happiness in the wrong place. We are seeking happiness in the wrong place. So here, material world is the place for the happiness. Material world is a place for, we think that it is happiness, but it's actually a misery. That's a miserable condition of life. And that's why it's called illusion. We think that there we get the happiness. Why? Because we are going through these various dualities of the life. We are suffering and struggling in this life. So we think that whatever we get a little bit from this world is happiness. That's our ignorance or that's our illusion. So when we are in this ignorance and illusion, when we think that, okay, this satisfying this body is the primary and the most important aspect of this, that we are devotees, we have a spirit soul. We are beyond this body and senses and the mind. And that's what is gross and settled body. That's we have spiritual body. That's our eternal identity. That's always there. That's what is, we have three bodies. One is material body, that's a gross body, and settled body. So whenever that only that it goes to the ashes, the body burns to ashes, but we have settled body, that's Sushma Sharira. Whenever our spirit soul goes to one body to another body, settled body, Sushma Sharira carries all our impressions, what we developed in this life. Always remember this. So it's very important that what kind of impression we are feeding to the soul, what kind of impression we are feeding within ourselves. That's in the second verse of this Isopanishad says that the killer of soul. So who is that killer of soul? That he is not understanding the identity of the soul. Rather, he completely engaged in these worldly activities and contaminating and load it over. And he completely forget an identity of the soul, and he completely in the illusion and the darkness. And he's considered as the killer of the soul. So when a killer of the soul, he goes to the hellish conditions of his next lifetime. That's why when the hellish planets are there, because of when they are completely ignorant and completely loaded, completely away from, completely the unconscious of the Supreme Lord, his identity, he goes to the planet where completely a dumb kind of life, right? Suffer and whatever the sinful activity does. On the other hand, he goes upwards when his consciousness is developed in such a way that he goes upwards and the pious credits, pious activities, he can enjoy more and more there. So that this is the way this living entity wander in this world, as it's mentioned that in the Bhagavad Gita. Brahma bhuvaner loger punaravartino arjuna mami veduda kaundeya punarjanma namityare. One who reaches to me will never comes back into this material world. So, in summarizing, dear devotees, it's very important that the consciousness, what we develop, that's matters at the time of death. So it's very important that how we can prepare that final examination. That's called art of living. So if we are not prepared or we don't have an art of living, then we will not have a proper art of death. Or we are not prepared for this life, we will not pass the examination or final examination. So Srila Prabhupada very clearly explains here, when we practice this, that's why we are called sadhakas. It's very important that Srila Prabhupada says that this 9 devotional processes that one has to follow, one has to practice. What are the 9 devotional practices? That Sravana Kirtana, Smarana Vandana, Pada Sevana Dasyare, Bhujana Sakichana, Atma Nivedana, Govinda Dasa Bilashare, the pure devotee of the Lord Govinda Das, he is mentioning that Sravana Kirtana, and this is the foremost, Srila Prabhupada also mentioning, referring that Srimad Bhagavatam also reveals that. Sravana Kirtana, by the process of Sravana, when we started hearing in the childhood itself, when a family facilitate, that's why the parents means that to facilitate this opportunity for their children to hear this transcendental subject matter. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunai Sravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karahodai. When we hear that about the Supreme Lord, it purifies our heart. Dear devotees, this is the transcendental science we have to have and keep in all the time. So we should be always hearing, we should be always able to hear this transcendental subject matter, the glories of Krishna. Right? So when we hear this, then it purifies our heart, purifies our ears, purifies our senses, Sravanam and Kirtanam. When we glorify the Supreme Lord, it purifies our heart, it purifies our tongue, purifies our ears, purify everything. So this loving devotional service, Sravana, Kirtana, Vishnu Smarana, remember. So what that does? That purifies our mind. So we should try to purify. This is the way that we develop that attachment for Krishna. So like that, when there is a place that sometimes the water, so water flows as per the form of that container, right? Water flows accordingly. Like that, what our settled body is developed accordingly, our settled body goes to the next life. It's very important. So this is called inner engineering, right? We have to engineer our inner self. What is that inner self? Inner engineering means by this process of hearing and chanting and remembering the Supreme Lord, Sravana, Kirtana, Vishnu Smarana, Pada Sevana. What is the Pada Sevana means? When we offer our service at the lotus feet of Krishna, any service which we do, what happens? That purifies our body. Okay? So contaminated body will come out and then it develops that taste to serve the lordships and serve the devotees. Pada Sevanam, Archanam, offering so that way, whatever the wealth, whatever the contaminated, impure wealth that we develop, we offer in the form of an Archana, that we buy the stuff, we buy the materials, everything purifies. We buy the vegetables and buy all the groceries, all the materials we buy. And when we buy that, when we offer, that's why anything that which we get, that we offer to Krishna. That's called Archanam. This is the way that we are also purified and we are, we are relieved from a contamination of this material world. So we'll become purified from this material world. See that? So anything that which we have, that we should offer to Krishna. So Archanam, then Vandanam. Vandana means offer obeisance to the Lord. What is that we get? How we purify that? When we offer obeisance to the Supreme Lord, we are purifying our ego. We are coming out from our false ego or self-centric activities. See that? This is the most difficult that we can come out of this false ego, or called ahankara, I, me, myself. But when we offer the obeisances to the other living entities, because of every other living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme. Krishna says in the 12th chapter, one who has this knowledge is very dear to me. So when we offer that vandanam, offer obeisance to Supreme Lord and his devotees, we can purify our false ego. Then we can, come out from the clutches of that false ego. Then that we can get rid of from our, because when we offer the obeisances, vandanam, dasyam, servitorship. And again, when we have that servitorship, that's what it is. Then we are also purify our complete ego, the complete body, and whatever that is gross body and settled body. And then we can completely come out from our gross and settled bondage, right? We have so much of settled bondage. But we take this humble position of serving everybody else and devotees, we can come out from our false ego and ahankar, this mind and intelligence and all this false ego from the settled body. Then Atma Nivedana. Yes, where we do the Atma Nivedana, when all these impurities goes out from our properly worship of this, now with the bhakti, Sravana, Kirtana, Vishnu, Smarana, Pada, Sevana, Archana, Vandana, Dasi, Saki, Atma Nivedana. So then that point we can completely surrender under Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada put a very beautiful example, 934, Manmana Bhaumad Bhakto, Madhyaji Mam Namaskaru, Mame Vashandi Satyam De, Pradijane Priyosime. Krishna says that, worship me, offer your obeisance unto me, manmana, meditate upon me, thus you will come to me because you are my very dear devotee. So dear devotees, those who take this like this, they will become very dear devotee of Krishna. What is that? Always remember, manmana maham bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. one who meditate upon me, one who worship me, one who offer your homage unto me, thus you will come to me. This is Krishna's words. This is the transcendental science, pure knowledge, and there is absolute truth. There is nothing that which beyond this. So the devotees, this is the science of this self-conscious. That's why it is the art of living and art of dying. So this is the time what Krishna, even though we are in different stages, or suppose we don't know what is the time of death or how we are going to pass this world. Some may be in the coma, some may be in unconscious state of not, some may be in our world dementia, not remembering anything. But spirit soul, also spirit has a complete form. He is full of knowledge, full of eternity, and full of remembrance, the spirit soul. So all this happening to our body, but not for the spirit soul. He has also Swarup. He has everything. He has complete, but body and subtle body, gross body doesn't even know. That's just a little portion of it. That's temporary anyway. But our identity is spiritual, eternal. So by the time when we develop that spiritual consciousness, then Lord himself, because he is also he's seated in our heart. Now he's the union now with the Lord. The Lord will make sure that, he is remembering the Lord. That means the spirit is conscious now. Even if in whatever the stage he dies, the spirit soul is now conscious, full conscious of Krishna. And who is making that possible? The Krishna himself making that possible, because he is completely purified. He is in the state of full conscious of Krishna. And Krishna will also make sure that even Krishna, that's why Srila Prabhupada is revealed that Krishna will make sure that such devotees are remembered. So that's very important. So that's why Krishna says that, Antakale Jamameva Smaran Mukta Kalevaram Satrayadi Samadbhavam Sada Tadbhavam Agadaka. As Krishna says that, Yadinatra Trahamshaya. Andakale Jamameva Smaran Mukta, one who remembers me at the time of death. Oh Arjuna, there is no doubt, surely he will come to me. Andakale Jamameva Smaran Mukta Kalevaram. Prayadis Samadbhavam Yadinatra Samshaya. There is no doubt into that. So the devotees, this is what is the art of dying. And how one can art of dying, that to attain Krishna, remember Krishna, seeing Krishna. And there are so many devotees, and I think it's getting more time. I don't want to more go into that. There are so many devotees we have in front of our eyes that, how they left the body. They are looking at Krishna, they're remembering Krishna. Even we know that one devotee was in a cancer patient. He was completely kind of conscious, but just before 30 minutes before, became awake. And there was in the room in the hospital, there was all the pictures of the Lord Narasimhadev. Kirtan was going on. And this devotee was smiling and just simply passed the body. Just all this time, she was unconscious like this. So there are cases, there are so many cases like that, dear devotees. This is called art of dying. That means attain Krishna, remember Krishna. Krishna is make sure that such devotees, remembers. There are so many examples. I don't want to get into it. So how do we come to that point? Is when we have this art of living, when we prepare our life in such a, and dovetail everything and have this conscious, we are eternal spirit soul. This temporary body we are not this body, we are not this settled body, mind, senses, and intelligence. No. We are eternal spirit soul. Our identity is that we are part of that Supreme Personality of God. And our identity, we are qualitatively same, and our nature is eternal. We are completely blissful, and we are full of knowledge and potency all the time, but is covered by our material consciousness. So here it says that the art of living is come out from our material consciousness and come to the Krishna consciousness. And the art of dying is, again, come out from the material consciousness and come to the Krishna consciousness. So when we develop this Krishna consciousness at the time of death, definitely we will be at Krishna conscious, and Krishna will make sure that such devotees, as always, have the consciousness of Krishna. So with this note, and it's a lot to speak, but time, and we can stop here. Then we can see any other questions or comments or concerns any devotees has.
Yes, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. I have a question.
Yes,
you
please.
have our current life is due to past karma.
Yes.
So in this life, we are doing Nauda Bhakti and everything.
Yeah.
So that we will improve our next life.
Yes.
But we will not able to go to the Godhead this life at all. Then.
No, actually that's what it is. Any lifetime, right? So we will have material life or spiritual life. Either we will have a material body or a spiritual body. So it depends on, it's deriving this lifetime, right? We have this lifetime. That's why we have this human form of lifetime. If we develop this consciousness, we have spiritual consciousness, we have Krishna conscious, definitely we will have a spiritual body. The body, spiritual body this world is not the place for the spiritual body or spiritual, spiritualists. This world is for material contaminated people. So when we develop the spiritual consciousness 100% at the time of death, so we will attain Krishna. So that what we get in the next lifetime, we get a spiritual life, spiritual body, where at the spiritual abode in the abode of Krishna, Vaikuntha or Goloka. But if you are developing, yes, we have only 10% of Krishna conscious, 90% we are materially conscious, yes, 90% is there. So we get a body accordingly, maybe higher planetary systems, maybe before that there is Tapalok, Maharlok, Janalok, Brahmalok, very, very highly, elevated souls. We can go there and then we stay there for thousands of years. We come back again and then start from again and then goes like that. This is the life that, everybody goes through. Yes, but it is very, 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 very clear that if we develop Krishna consciousness at the time of death, we are remembering the Lord with that, preparation, then we can easily pass. That's why we can pass our final exam. What is that final exam? Death. So instead of Yamadutas coming, who will be coming? Vishnudutas coming to take us back.
Our free will does work. I thought free will does not work for this life, it works for the next life.
No. Free will always works. Free will also works this lifetime. That's why if we select the choice we have to select Krishna, that choice that, okay, let's go back home, back ordered. We can go back home, back to Godhead with this free will. And if our choice is that develop this Krishna conscious this lifetime, yes, we get that spiritual life and we go back to Krishna.
Because I came from a Jainism for Krishna. They say, you can improve your next life, but you cannot improve this life.
No. That's why this is the absolute. So transcendental knowledge, which we go through as per the scripture. And the scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam, reveals this. Srimad Bhagavatam is based on the Veda, Vedanta Sutra. Vedas are actually the knowledge which reveals from the mouth of the Lord. So which one we should believe? Right? So we should go all the way back, the original Sanskrit, original Vedic knowledge. This is the transcendental knowledge. Which one we should believe in one. So that's why Srila Prabhupada took such efforts to reveal this transcendental knowledge to everybody else. So now you are here. Now you are hearing all this. You should believe all this, and then you should practice. And at the time of death, no matter what, Krishna will be there. He will take back. And Srila Prabhupada even revealed that even this lifetime, everybody can attain. Not that we don't need to be wait for another lifetime. Yes, but some inclination we have, then that will take us to the different life forms. Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Can I ask a question?
Sure, of course.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Wonderful class as always. So when I joined a little late. In the purport, it was saying that we should remind Krishna at the time of death, I think, about the sacrifices we have made, about the austerities and all. And I felt like it is like, in Hindi, they say jatana, like, okay, I have done all this. Now you take care of me.
You take care of this.
So I felt that was so wrong, but my understanding is not at that level that I can understand that. But that's what I felt, that, okay, we are dying now. We've done this, like list of things. Okay, we've done this our entire life. And now you take care of us, Krishna.
Yeah.
So how to understand that is, I want to understand that better.
Yes. This is, we can see that this is not really on the pure devotional platform, right? It's not.
It doesn't feel right, okay,
yeah.
Tit for tat. Okay, I did this, now you do this for me.
Yeah.
Because that's not what we are doing the devotional service for, so that we can be rewarded. We can be rewarded. Because, but that was beautiful when it said further that, okay, no matter in what condition you die, and even if you don't list the things, Krishna will still remember. So that makes sense, that
Yes.
Krishna will remember. But
Yes.
telling him and reminding him, I felt is not right. So I said, I have to ask this question, like I
Yes,
have
yes.
to.
Let me, yeah. So this is where, right? Say, of course, this is even it comes to the level of Upanishad, even the devotees praise, there are different stages of devotion, right? That's why in the pure devotional platform, Bhakti Uttama Sri Rupa Goswami reveals that Anya Bhilashida Shunyam, right? There is no devoid of all the desires. Anya Bhilashida Shunyam Jnana Karmadhi Anavrutam Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam Bhaktir Uttama. Why Sri Rupa Goswami did that? Okay, it says Bhaktir. But why it said that Bhaktir Uttama? So this desirelessness, devoid of various kinds of desires, is actually on the pure level of, that's only the prema. So not everybody comes to that. But it's not that when we come to prema only, we get a liberation. Even it is says that one who has the sadhana level, one who is even at the kanishta adhikari level, one who at the very sadhaka level, the bhukti and the mukti is the subservient of a devotee. Then he is also called as devotee or called a bhakta. So subservient, this bhukti, even whatever the desires he have, and also mukti, liberation is also a subservient. They are subservient means they are always ready to take the orders. As I treat him, that the devotee as a master. Whatever he says, whatever is, they are ready to go like that. So this Rupa Goswami says all these things in Nectar of Devotion. So here a devotee says that yes, there's a different stages of devotion, there are levels of devotion. That's why when a Kanishta Adhikari, when it comes to that level, or we can say that this is not it's not revealing that the pure devotional platform, but this is revealing us a liberation of how we can liberate ourselves from these material conditions of the life, right? Material conditions of the life. Yes. Again, when a person, a devotee also, it is, we should also understand this way, when an intention, right? Krishna says that, right? There are four kinds of people comes to me, right? Chadurvida bhajante ma, jana sugurdano arjuna artho arthati jnyasu jnanina bharadashava, right? Four kinds of people comes to me. And Krishna says that's fine, because of when they are at the beginning stage, they come artho artharti, right? One who is inquisitive, one who is looking for wealth, jnani, one who is inquisitive for knowledge, and like that, such people comes to, and real devotees also comes to us. So what they do, yes, they have this inclination, is I did all this for the Krishna, but when that intention is that to attain Krishna, that intention, I need to attain Krishna, right? That is also not wrong in one sense. So that's a pure devotional platform. Just for an example, we know that even the gopis were there, and Krishna, they wanted Krishna always with them. They wanted always with them. The moment they goes away, and they are selfish. In one sense, they are in what is this selfishness? This is transcendental selfishness, right? So Radharani was always angry with Krishna when Krishna goes to other gopis, right? This is a desire. And what kind of desire it is? And the desire is that I want Krishna all the time. Yes, then they will argue that Krishna, I did this for you, you didn't even look at me. I did this one, I came this one. And this was a wonderful pastime. This all wonderful pastimes happen. And like that, I did so much of things, and you did this to me. This whole conversation is there within the devotee level of it, but that is on the very pure devotional platform. Yes, the intention when we have, oh Krishna, yes, that I have been going through all these things. Please help me. Please liberate me. Please help me. That so that I can come to you. That's a very sincere devotional, sincere desire. When we have such a sincere desire, there is nothing wrong. Because of, we say, Krishna, I did. See, in any way, right? In any way that what we are looking for, Krishna, I want to serve you. That's what it is. So I want to serve you, right? When we pray to the, Tulsi Maharani, give me the Prem Bhakti, give me the service, give me that, give me this, right? But here is on the another level of it that, okay, I did this for you. Please give me this opportunity to remember you. Please give me this opportunity to serve you. So there is nothing wrong in it. Nothing wrong. Yes, it's maybe when a devotee comes to the pure devotional platform, then it won't even come, Krishna, whatever you wish. That Srila Prabhupada says. Whatever, like Srila Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wished that Yada Tadada Vidadadu Lambadu Mat prananadastusa evanapara. You can do anything you want to. I don't care, but all I need is your service. This is very, very purest, form of loving devotion. But the other time, is a devotee has some kinds of desire, it's nothing wrong. That's why Krishna says that akama, sarva kama, moksha kama, udaradi, tivrena bhakti yogena labhate purusham param. Even if you have some desire, there is desirelessness. Akama, if you have some desire, sarva kama, even if you have some desire for moksha, that's what is we are seeing here. Moksha kama, udharati, tivrena bhakti yogena labhate purusham param. And when we develop, and then what happens with that intention, with that desire, one who in any condition, it's mentioned that one should pray to the Supreme Lord. In any condition, you have some desire for wealth, in this even as rich, whatever, we should pray to the Supreme Lord. And anything that we have, we should offer and pray to the Supreme Lord. So it doesn't mean that, whether we pray in that condition, this condition, oh, Krishna, I did this one. All is actually telling to us is that some way or other, we should be in relationship with Krishna, whether it is sakama or akama, bhakti, right? So that's what is all the point is here, it's revealing. So that's our perfection of the life. Otherwise, we will be completely degraded and completely covered into this material ocean of misery and illusion.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Makes sense for explaining. Thank you so much.
So, thank you so much. Wonderful question. Very nice. Okay. Anybody else? Any other comments, questions? Any other reflections?
Yes, Prabhu, one question. Dandavat pranam to everyone.
Yeah.
Yes, you know that this material world is like a jail.
Yep.
Jail.
Yep.
And in the jail, sometimes the prisoners are inside the jail. They cannot see the light also outside. That is
Yep.
and inside that there is artificial light. So that's why Brahma Jyoti is not come to this place, because this is a jail.
Yep.
So the question is that, Prabhu, one thing in that I heard that if some Vaishnavas has the Kanthi Mala and Tilak and everything, Jamdut will not come.
Yeah.
And Vishnudut will take them, and what will be the end condition if they that particular at the time of death, some Vaishnavas has the Kunti Mala and everything. What is the position is that if he, even if he will not remember Krishna's name?
You mean, okay, he didn't do anything, just have the tulasi beads in his neck?
No, he did the 16 round japa, everything.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But at the end, at the time of the death,
yeah,
he's not able to remember Lord.
No, I think, see, if one, even if Krishna says, as Srila says, right, in the Bhagavad Gita also mentioned that very clearly. Krishna is telling to Arjuna that declare it boldly, my devotees never perish. That means even if we do little bit of, that's why Neha Vikramana Sosti Pratyavayana Vidyate Solpam Abhyasi Dharmasya. Even if little bit we did, Krishna never forgets all this transcendental service that we did for Krishna, right? And on the top of it, that we have, yes, when we develop this wonderful devotion and sadhana, we chant 16 rounds. Think about that. A person comes to the level of dedicated his time and chanting 16 rounds every day, or not in every day, even if not in every day. He has Bhavagrahi Janardana. Krishna understand their heart. They have developed that sadhana, that love for Krishna. Krishna never forgets such devotees. So yes, that's true. Even if they have some kinds of material desires, Yamadudas won't come. Definitely true. They won't go to the, what is that meaning? Yamadudas won't come. Yamadudas comes and takes them to the Yamapuri, Samyamani, that's called Yamapuri, and then look for all the sins that they have completed and put into the hellish, planetary systems. So, but here on the other hand, instead of Yamadudas, Vishnududas comes, right? Vishnududas comes with that purity, with that Krishna consciousness. And even at the time of death, that Krishna promises that, yes, a devotee, if a devotee comes to that stage of Krishna consciousness, he can remember Krishna. Krishna will make sure that remember it. But remember, so now this devotee has some desire, as Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport. So when this devotee has some desire that he wants to enjoy, so he goes to the higher planetary system. Krishna will fulfill that desire. Krishna will make sure that he goes to that desire, fulfill that desire. So he goes to the higher planetary system and he enjoys there whatever the desires he remaining. And he will take a birth again after he enjoyed and all this, and he takes a birth again into a devotee's family or an aristocratic family or a rich family. So this is what is Krishna is revealing to Arjuna in the I think it's 7th chapter. And he gets a birth accordingly that he says he are left over. So he doesn't go to the hellish condition or hellish planets, right? Rather, he goes to the higher planetary system and he goes to and take a birth after his enjoyment. He takes a birth into the devotee family or rich family or aristocratic family so that he will have an opportunity to start from there. So that's what Srila Prabhupada says. This lifetime, we started here at the 7th grade, right? We pass this body, at least that 7th grade that we have. So when we come back, we start from the 8th grade, not from the 0. So he already has some kinds of the developed consciousness. That's why Krishna says, my devotee never perishes. So then he developed that quality. Now 7th standard, then he graduate and he comes to the stage of Krishna consciousness, 70-80% of Krishna consciousness. That's where we come to the real state of the purity, right? When we come to that 70-80% of Krishna consciousness, that's where we come to the stage of raga. We come to the stage of attachment to Krishna. We come to the stage of bhava. We come to the stage of pure. And that's where 100% comes to that, the pure. It's very difficult to come to 100% unless we are very close to Srimati Radharani, likes that. But at least we'll have 70, 80%, then we definitely attain the abode of Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu. Very nicely explained. Dandavat, Prabhu.
Okay. Thank you so much. Jay, anything else? Anybody else would like to add? Any other reflection?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I was Dandavat Pranam. I was late to join, so I'm feeling bad how much I missed. But I started listening around when you was giving example of one, I think the fish something.
The two ladies, the fisherwoman, and the forest. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So is it possible if just quickly in 3-4 minutes I can catch up with the...
Hear that? Yes.
Yeah.
So I was trying to say, yes, we develop all these various kinds of sensual attachment, or it develops that, it develops within our body by our daily activities, day-to-day, our association, day-to-day what we do, what we hear, what we eat, what we talk, what we are, our consciousness is. It's all developed according to our gross and settled body, our mind, intelligence, ego, our gross body. And accordingly, we develop this vasana or this addiction or impression in our mind. That's what is our settled body. So I was giving this example. A fisherwoman and a florist, a lady who makes the garlands, right? Who makes the very. So this florist lady is always with the, fresh flowers, very fragrant, very jasmine, very always, right? Making always. So she developed a taste of that, always smells that, very nice, very pure, right? The nice fragrant smell. This fisherwoman, she is always with fish. So what happens? She developed this kind of sense of smell of fish always. But what happens when it's body develop that kind of, after some time, she does not even feel that I'm smelling a fish, isn't it? But the lady, those who are always with these flowers, when come near to the fish and even far from that, she can smell there's a bad smell of fish. But this fisherwoman lady is always sitting with fish. She doesn't even feel much. Because of why? Our body or our mind is tuned to it now. We develop that, we tune to it. So similarly, the florist, the lady who is making garland, she developed that taste of that the nice fragrant, nice smell of it. Why? The body mind is always with that. So similarly, one day that lady came to fisherwoman lady came to the friend of that florist lady, right? To spend there. So the fisherwoman, they had their dinner, they talked a lot of things, and then okay, let's sleep. And they went to sleep. So fisherwoman lady is now in the forest. There are a lot of flowers were there, and everything was, talking. Then fisherwoman woman is actually then went there and started to sleep. She is not getting a sleep, but why? Because of she is getting this nice fragrance flowers. She's not getting a sleep. Now she's in a different plane, right? So now what she is tuned to it, what she is accustomed to do it and tuned to it, that because of she was always with the fish, and she was tuned, our entire body and mind is now tuned to that the smell of a fish. So what she did, she went out, she took that basket of her that fish, and always, right, there's a smell of fish is always there. She put some water and kept it on her head. Now she got a very deep sleep. Why? Because the entire body is tuned to it. So similarly, our life is like that.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, got
Whatever
the
we
point.
are developed, that's what is that's coming out. That's what is we are talking. That's what is we are doing. What is our behavior is. That's what is our character is. Everything is what we developed. Yes, we had something from our past life. That's called vasana, impression. Then on top of it, we are adding a lot of water and food to that to develop it. Then what happens? Then we accordingly, then we behave, we do all the. On the other hand, like a forest lady, like nice fragrance, then then we can develop like that's what is Krishna consciousness, nice sangha association, what we eat, what we talk, and it's all nice devotees. Actually, we should always have satsang. As devotee association, satsang. Satsangate nisangatvam, nisangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nischaladatvam, nischaladatve jivan mukti. See this one? Satsangatve nisangatvam. Nisangatve nirmohatvam, nirmohatve nischaladatvam, nischaladatve jivan mukti. By the satsang association of devotees, nisangatva, that we come to that stage of, that's called the detachment. That means anartha nivritti, association, right? Sadhu sangha bhajana kriya anartha nivritti. Nisangata means we will be free from the detachment, from the attachment to this material world. We'll come to that stage of detachment. That means we can slowly, break, or what we can say, cut our ties, cut our knots of ties to this material world. Then nisangatve nirmohatva. That means moha means illusion. We can come to our pure knowledge. Nisanga, from this detachment, cut out. Then we come to our nirmoha. That means we come to our original identity, pure consciousness. That's what is called nirmoha. That means we come out from the illusion. Then nirmohatva, we come to the nischala tattva. That's where we'll come to our very focused, steady. That's called we come to the stage of nishta. We come to the stage. Now our problem is that we are completely, our mind is so vulnerable, and it goes every moment flickering and goes everywhere. We cannot even think anything. We cannot even talk. It's completely kind of, gone out of our control. We cannot even control our. So only way we can control, that's why we don't have focus. We don't have focus. We don't know what we are doing, what we are talking, what we are, our consciousness is. Why? Because we are not a consciousness. We are not connected. We are completely out of control of this. We are not steady. We are not nishta. We are completely like when a cow, when untied, this goes everywhere. Like a horses, when it untie the horses, goes run away. It goes everywhere, all the places. So like that, then nirmoha nischala. Then when we come to that steady, that's called sthita pragya. Okay, sthita pragya, steady of intelligence, steady of the mind. Sthira, buddhi, sthita pragya, nishta. Then was various words uses in the then nischala tattve, then we can come to really jivan mukti. That means we can liberate ourselves in that condition. So it's very important. That association is very important. That's why we develop, we come out and, untie, cut down all these material knots that we have deeply rooted in our heart. So slowly we can cut these branches of weapons of detachment by the knowledge. Weapons of the knowledge, weapons of the detachment. We can cut this root of this tree, which is spread all over this world. Yeah, that's what I was mentioning.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes. Siddha, you mean Siddhi. Siddhi or Siddha, same, right?
Which one? The
Siddha you mentioned in between. I think like some people call it Siddhi, the Siddhi Prapti.
Yes, of course, yes. Siddhi Prapti means, yes, the Mukti, one can come to the stage of pure real identity of self-realization. That's actual Siddhi.
Okay. Yes, Prabhuji, tough part is how to stay with this satsang all the time.
All the time, yes. That's what I see. That's we have to tune our life, Mataji, accordingly. So like that, you see, now things are out of our control. It's uncontrolled. We don't have any discipline. Okay, whatever comes to our way, we take it. Whatever comes to our mouth, we say it. Whatever comes to our mind, we do it. Whatever is that which we are not doing it. Actually, all the other influences, like if somebody says something, okay, let me also say something. Somebody does something, oh, let me also do something. Let me do this. Let me do. We are not into that. We are not steady. That mind is not our steady. So we are actually, a system is that we should be Goswami. Goswami means the controller of our senses. We should be fully control our senses. That's why Goswami means. But on the other hand, we are all considered as Godasas. What is the Godasa means? We are the servants of our Go senses. We completely Dasa, the servants of our senses. We are ready. We are 100% ready. Anytime our senses say, okay, let me enjoy this wonderful dish. Okay, let me go. Let me hear this beautiful music and beautiful. Okay, let me hear. Okay, let me go there. Let me watch these beautiful movies. Came out. A lot of people are saying. A lot of appreciation. This talks about this world. This talk about this one. This talk about this love. This talk about this young lady. That whatever the country, whatever. So okay, let me go. Or even this is a beautiful fiction. Okay, let me go. If I don't go, my life is wasted. That's our attitude, right? If something comes up. So this is the way. So we are Godasas. We are the servants of our senses all the time. All the time. So even something comes to the mind, even without thinking twice, we just sometimes, provoking words, talking, harsh words, getting angry, entangled with all these things. Why? Because we are Godasas. We are the servants of our senses, mind. And we utilize that, then intelligence is there, right there. Okay, let me. Somebody says something, we don't have any habit of forgiveness. We don't have any, when we don't have any forgiveness, we are not peaceful. We engage in that one, we engage in this one, we engage in all these things. We don't have a humility. We don't have humbleness. We have all the other ornaments we have, but we can deal with this material world, keeping away from our soul, spirit, soul, keeping away from Krishna, keeping away from all this wonderful association. We have time for everything else. We have time for everything else, but we don't have time for this association. What is association means? Two kinds of association, Vapu and Vani. Vapu means physical like association like this. And then also Vani. Vani means hearing. Srila Prabhupada, we can have every day Srila Prabhupada's association just by hearing Srila Prabhupada's words. There are thousands of records. This is also association. Here Srimad Bhagavatam devotee speaks. That's also association with the devotees. Reading books is an association with the Srila Prabhupada. Hearing Krishna Katha, association with the Krishna. Where are we missing this association? Every minute we can have association. Every moment. But we don't want it because of our mind has a problem. What is the problem of our mind? Mind has a problem of bhoga and tyaga. Right? So because of we don't have that practice. When the mind has this problem, bhoga and tyaga, accept it and reject it. This is the nature of our mind if it is not controlled. Bhoga tyaga, or accept it and reject it. That's the way we love. We like things, so many things. But if it is little over, then we reject it. So we eat rasagula 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. then we started to reject it. No, it's not anymore tasteful, isn't it? So our life is like that. We are looking for happiness because of the happiness which we are right now. We rejected it now. That's why relationship, we cannot keep a properly good relationship. We cannot keep up good relationship like friends. We cannot keep up good relationship with anything, anybody in this world. Why? Because of after some time, now we are looking more from that person. We are looking more and more from that person. Why? Our mind is rejected already. Now I need something more. I need something more. I need something more. So when we get that more and then enjoy, the mind enjoyed it, and the next moment it says, now I need more, and then reject it. This is the nature of the mind in this world. Bhoga tyaga, accept it and reject it. So why? Because of we are completely entangled, inclined towards this bhoga and then tyaga. So this bhoga, this material enjoyment, when it's so deep rooted, so intense, then what happens? The rejection also there. That's why our scripture Acharya says that instead of the enjoyment, the sense enjoyment, try to utilize this same sense enjoyment, utilize to please the sense of Krishna. That's why he is known as Rishikesh. Rishikesh is the master of the senses. So even though we try to hear senses, then eventually what will happen? That our senses become pure. Our hearing senses, Krishna Gada, every day the pastimes of Krishna, Vrindavan pastimes, butter thief, now Kartik is coming, Damodara pastimes. So what happens? Even though initially when start to hear to please our ears, but when that ears, the sense of hearing get purified and that become completely purified now. So what happens? Now when we hear that one, now we remember Krishna. Now we started to remember Krishna and then we started to call out Krishna. Then what happens? Now we are hearing, now we are calling. See that? Unless and until we hear, we cannot call. That's why hearing is so important. Then we start to chant the holy name. When we hear it, and then when it's purified, now we started to call out the name of the Lord, talk about the Lord. Then what happens when we do that one? Now which ear is pleasing? Which sense is pleasing? Krishna's sense is pleasing. Krishna's ear is now pleasing that this devotee is calling me. Initially, what we were doing, this is for me. Okay, I'm going to hear it. I'm going to enjoy my senses. But now after that, purify. That's a potency, the power of the spiritual name, the transcendental name. So when we hear and act accordingly, then it's become pure. And now the love comes from our heart. That's why heart is purified. Now we started to call out, do something, and hear. And all this one, when we do it, then what happens? Then we call out Krishna's name. Now Krishna is pleased. Krishna is hearing now, hearing us, not us. So this is the way everything works like that. When we taste the prasadam, purifies our heart, then we start to cook nicely. Okay, every day we start to cook nicely. Okay, Krishna, now let me cook something for you nicely. So now that who is tasting that? Krishna is tasting. Now Krishna's senses are, pleased. When we do our hands, our work, or the legs, our body, initially for ourselves. But when we do it ourselves first, initially, then what happens? Purifies, now become pure, and we do that service for Krishna, then Krishna is now pleasing. So this is what is Rishigena Rishi. So Rishikesha. So we have to please, initially, yes, our own senses, but we should do it. So this is the way, slowly, we come and start to do the please the senses of Krishna. This way, we can completely purify our existence.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice.
Yeah. So that's why association is always there. But all we need, just try that instead of spending unnecessarily. I always say that we are worried about always what we don't have. We never think about what we have. We always worry about what we don't have. I need this one. Even if I have a car, I was looking for, okay, I need another car, a BMW, Tesla, okay. Everybody else has it. I don't have it. This is our worry. I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have good hair, I don't have good home, I don't have good car, I don't have this one. Everybody else has it. So, but we don't value what we have. We don't keep it nice and, tidy. What we have. There are worries about what we don't have. We don't think much about ourselves. We always think about others. what they do, what did they talk, what did they. You don't have time for ourselves. Isn't it really true?
Yes.
Really true. We don't have time for ourselves.
The examples
We've
you
got time
gave,
for everybody
actually,
else. Yeah.
you just gave the examples. It's fitting me on me perfectly. Like, I need another car. Actually, we need another car. Like, so, but like during COVID, so we managed, and we were leasing one, and now we have to buy another car. I mean, I'm just
No, need is
mentioning.
need is always good, right? It's
Yeah.
what I was talking about the greed. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. No. No greed.
Need
No
is
greed.
always, Lord is fulfill always the need. That's we need a car, we needed some things. But the greed is when we have 2, 3 cars, don't need to think about, we need to get another car. Maybe it's manageable. So that's what a simple living, I thinking. You need to have to
Yes.
practice the simple living of it. That's why many people, I'm not talking about us, like many other people, what they are always thinking about, they are always worry about what they don't have, always worry,
No, no,
and they
these
don't.
examples are so good. Actually, they are like from actually the reality, right? So it fits some way, and sometimes like it depends on the person also. Like some people, they are into this bhakti, but because of the clashes from the family around, somebody will say, "Oh, you always doing this. You don't have time for this." They're also facing that. Like devotees, like some, I can say, small scale kind of criticism from some few of the family members, or but that's like that is also happening. So it's like little bit struggle, but it's okay. But bhakti, if bhakti is strong, it is strong. Then you don't like these songs or Bollywood songs or party song, this music. No, once into the bhajans or these shlokas, those are like poison to the ears.
Yeah, of course. That's what it is. That's very
But
true. That's what is exactly. So
but
we
it's
have
tough
to.
to mention, it's tough to mention in discussion or in the family, and then they will start saying something, oh, she is too much into it, or
No, no, no. That's what it is, right? And this is again, right? Yes. So that, see, the purity is the force, right? So Prabhupada says that the purity is the force. It's very important that whatever we do with the sincerity and purity, that is, I'm doing this for Krishna. See, I was looking at in my office today, one family, the company itself posted to entire company that there is a family who was actually into the traditional classical dance, and then their family with that picture and showing this altar picture. Can you imagine that Bank of America showing their home altar picture in their complete website? Every like 300 employees is seeing that the altar of their picture on their company website. You know why? Because of they are very sincere and pure in their whole endeavor. They are just posted that this is what is I'm doing every day. Company was appreciating that their sincerity and purity. It's just a simple example. When I saw it, I was stunned. Never,
that is
never saw
like
this.
nice experience with me. Like I mentioned few times, like at my workplace I was fasting, so but I was managing my time. Like if I was supposed to leave early from work to stop by at the temple, but then I was arriving also early, but I had to mention that to my manager. But it was like just a
Yeah,
silent
that's
kind of
agree.
mode. They didn't
Agree.
say
There are some people. There's some people
yes.
are. I mean, always there is a. Yeah, that's what it is, right? But again, right? Doesn't matter. They may take it differently. We don't know what their mood is, the matter. But it's always remember purity is the force. So we are not thinking this is what is I was mentioned. We are always worried about others, what they think, what they say, what they do.
Yes.
Isn't it true? So what
Yes.
we need to do is actually, it's if it is the right thing to do, we should do it. Know that what others will say, what others will think about us, what others will talk about us. That is not sincerity. That's not purity. So what I was trying to say, purity is the force, sincerity is the key. That when we have, if it is the right thing to do, that's what it is. First of all, we have to come to this steady and stage that yes, this is the right thing. That's what is Shraddha, faith. When you have that shraddha, faith, and this is the right thing to do in my life, that's what is I'm going to do. No matter what, how others think, no matter what, how others talk about it, no matter what, how others. Otherwise, how can we live in this world? If I am completely dependent upon somebody else, what they think, what they talk about me, it's not possible. Then I will not be happy. So this is the key of our success and happiness for us. What is the key of our success and happiness? That's self. Come to that. That's the self-content. That you see, that's why many people, like it was giving an example of like Zuckerberg, right? The Mark Zuckerberg. He founded this Facebook. He has a billions of dollars worth of person. He still drive his old car. He still just put like a jeans, a t-shirt. He still lives in an apartment, like a 2-bedroom apartment. So he has that. Yes, I don't want this world. The world is going to talk to me. I want a peaceful, happy life. I work I come to my family. I want to be with my family in a very simple way. And this gives me more happy because that's what is me. That's what is I am. So this is called sincerity. So like that, this guy, the very rich person, the stock, what is his name? Yeah, what is it? Ward, something like that. He was a stock.
The stock market one, yes, the with the W name with W something, right?
Warren Buffett.
Yes.
Warren Buffett. He's okay, a billionaire. He still lives old car, just 1-bedroom apartment, just maybe like an old computer. He takes care of himself. He goes to the store and he doesn't even drive or chauffeur. He drives himself and he's so happy. He said, why should I complicate my life? Why should I think about what others will say to me? This is purity. This is sincerity of their life. So this is what is we need. So what is, what is that conducive for my life, my happiness? I don't need to go out and say, okay, all world is going to praise me or if I do this one, or if I do this way, what they will talk to me or what will think about me. This is the right thing. That's what is knowledge means. Knowledge means that to study to make a person very steady. If a person is vulnerable, he is lack of knowledge, he has lack of strength. Where we get the strength? We get from the strength from the knowledge. And that's where we come to that real study. And that's what is whoever is successful in this world, they have very steady, focused mind. Otherwise, we are all dependent on, so many things, what others will say, this will say, what will say, how I will live, that he goes mad. This is what is the main problem.
True.
Okay.
True.
All
Thank
right.
you,
Something is getting
Hare
delayed.
Krishna.
Yeah. Hare
Yes.
Krishna. Okay. Anything else? Anybody else would like to add? Or so otherwise we'll conclude here. Okay. Thank you so much. And tomorrow the fast breaking time is between 7:09 and 7:03 to 8:09. Okay. So thank you so much. Let's conclude here. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubheva cha patidanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Vandaraj Ishubhane ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gauri Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Gauri Premanande Hari Hari.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Pranam.
Hare Krishna.